Welcome to Analytics Unplugged. I'm Andrea Heckner, and with me today is John Plummer, VP of Strategic Accounts at Buxton. And now, John, you've been in the data analytics world for over 7 years, right? Working closely with retail brands on their growth strategy. So today I want to pick your brain on market research, which is the process of gathering, analyzing, and interpreting information about a market, which includes potential customers, competitors, and an industry as a whole. So my interest in market research stems from some recent research that Buxton has done related to market research, but more specifically, better understanding the team structure of a marketing department. And what we found in that research is that not a lot of teams have someone dedicated to research and analysis or customer insights. So what I'm curious is, what challenges have you noticed with these teams that don't have in-house data analytic capabilities, and how those challenges impact their strategy or business decision making, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah. So I'll preface this by saying everybody's a little bit different depending on the size of the organization, kind of the life stage of growth. You may have folks that wear a ton of hats. You may have folks that wear one because they're very hyper specialized. So kind of disclosure that everybody's a little bit different, but you're exactly right. I mean, some organizations may not have kind of the bandwidth resources to be able to do that market research, to do that analysis, right? And so they need a third-party partner to go through and kind of be that extension of their team as well, which is something that Buxton can help with and often does fill that role for them. But sometimes it's other constraints. Sometimes it's not knowing not just the where in terms of what the data is telling them, but what to do with it next. So
Acting on it.
There can be, very commonly we see, hey, maybe I have a bunch of outside resources, I have a bunch of tools at my disposal, but I don't know what to do next, or I don't know which one to trust the most. And so it's almost like the cliche of paralysis by analysis or overthinking it. And so sometimes you just need that separate third-party resource extension of your team, like I mentioned, to help kind of boil the ocean, so to speak, and sift through everything and say, hey, this is not just the research that you should focus on. Here are the action steps that come next from that, so that you can actually have interesting insights about your customer, where to find more people that look just like them, and then being able to take that and directly apply it into your marketing efforts, so the channels and what they're going to be most receptive to. But if you're missing that link as well, it can tend to be another kind of potential issue point.
Yeah, and so you kind of already touched on it in outlining some of these challenges, but just to kind of reiterate the impact that some of this can have on just it sounds like it could be wasted resources too.
For sure.
I know kind of in previous discussions we had that sometimes there's not transparency within an organization. So that could be something where one department outsourced some study to get done and it's not shared within the organization. So that could be something that's wasted as well. Anything else can you speak to that?
Yeah, I mean, resource management is huge, right? It's key for everybody, right? So you're exactly right. Sometimes, not all the time, we will see that can be the case, even with folks that we start working with, because it's not uncommon for real estate to hire Buxton for site selection or growth decisions. But a lot of those data sets and a lot of those tools have a direct application to marketing, right? So to build a site selection model, I need to know who the right type of customer is, and then where to go find more people that demographically and from a consumer behavior standpoint live their lives the same way. So if I need that on the site selection side, why not use that data on the marketing side? So that when I get there, speak to the right people, right? So you're not blasting to folks that doesn't matter how many mailers or emails they get, they're never gonna answer your question, right? Because they're just not the right customer for you.
Yeah, it's not targeted marketing.
So targeted marketing, that's the most granular level of wasted resources, and when data can inform it, you're not doing that waste, but also just, again, the time of, well, I need to go find another partner to do the analysis to tell me who that customer is. Again, sometimes it may already be there. So I have seen examples where, again, within those organizations, everybody's not on the same page, or there's a disconnect in terms of the language that they're using to understand who their customers are. But sometimes it's just as simple as, I have too many resources, or I don't have enough, and I need to take action now, right? I'm losing customers in some of my locations. We got a grand opening that's coming up. I need to get the name out there. We're opening the store regardless. Gotta do something. And so again, part of it is just simply having the tools at your disposal to take action and not miss opportunities. That's another way that resources are critically important too.
Yeah, that kind of speaks to some other challenges. So I'm going to piggyback off on that and share some other challenges that related to customer insights that were shared with Buxton in that recent research that we did. So some of the most frequent challenges that marketers said that customer insights isn't granular enough, which is something you said. It's not fast enough, so they can't act on it. And it's not reflective enough, meaning not reflective of all purchase channels, not reflective of data beyond transactions. And so to me, that kind of speaks to the limitation of only relying on first-party data to understand customers. But what are your thoughts? How do they overcome these challenges?
Yeah, I mean, the responders to the survey were very smart. They're correct. I agree with them. Yeah, your data, first-party data, is excellent. But sometimes because of bias in the data set, because of who the responders were being the bias, right? It may not tell the full story.
Yeah.
Or it may only lead you with one option, right? So sometimes you do need an outside perspective, an outside data set to kind of complete the picture and fill in the gap on, hey, who is the overall best customer? And then from there, I need that data at the household level, because I need to make it as tailored and specific as I can in order to put my brand in front of the right type of people in a way that they're going to be most receptive. And so again, it comes back to the hyper-targeting versus kind of the more shotgun approach of just blasting out to everybody. But you're exactly right.
Yeah. And so I know some of the outsourcing it, I think maybe some organizations can not be hesitant, but they might think they don't have the budget for it. And some of these studies, they can be very all-encompassing. They can also be time-consuming, just if it is enriching first-party data and you have to get the first-party, that whole process can be time-consuming. So is fast and affordable market research something that maybe a smaller organization that thinks they don't have the budget, or they want to act fast, they need insights right away? Is that something, does that exist?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes, it absolutely does. I mean, I think even just within our four walls, we have several ways that we can answer that question for our clients, and do so very quickly, and do so in a way that, again, the most important piece is not just the analysis itself, but what do I do next? I can get you that answer quickly, and I can tell you where to go apply it at a very specific level. So yes, I would say that's absolutely possible.
Okay, what are some other methods of market research, or just any other insights you want to share based on your experience working with so many brands over your tenure at Buxton?
Yeah, so the first one I'll cite is an oldie but a goodie. I mean, I remember even in marketing classes learning about it, right? But customer surveys, when done right, when done right, and the end result is also put in the correct perspective, because there's going to be any bias in terms of who's responding to the survey based on who sent it out and what incentive you gave them to take the survey. But hearing directly from the horse's mouth is always going to be excellent. That's a piece of the puzzle. Loyalty data, right? And that can take very different forms depending on industry. I think when most folks hear loyalty, it's attributed to retail, but the same is true for any way that you can, track and manage and prioritize your best customers, right? If you can collect some of that data, then it makes our job, folks like Buxton, a lot easier, because we have that data right at our fingertips, and we can help analyze it faster for you if we have access to that. But there's also a lot of ways that, even in the absence of that, like using mobile data, that we can understand who's come into your business, even if you don't collect any of it yourself. So a lot of different options there, but I think the moral of the story is we can go through and collect that information and help you make action on it.
So all those methods of market research make a lot of sense, but just bringing it back around to that challenge I mentioned earlier that was cited in that research as customer insights isn't fast enough. So how do marketers get insights fast so they can act on it fast?
Yeah. So I think that's where Buxton comes into play, because we have heard that feedback. I mean, the first two examples are things that folks have tried to do and they still have a relevant purpose, right? But things like our alert product and things like our propensity scoring are ways to where you don't have to wait a long period of time to collect the loyalty or survey data, but it's a third-party partner with you to go through and analyze your customer base and help you give a direct action on what to do next. So again, what channels, who do I speak to, where's my dollar going to go furthest in terms of acquiring more customers and getting more out of my existing customers. So both of those tools that we offer to our clients, that's what they're leveraging them to do, and it's cutting down dramatically on the speed in which they're able to actually action on those marketing insights.
To learn more about Buxton, visit our website at buxtonco.com.